Striving for mediocrity in a world of excellence. This is the Chaser Report.
Hello and welcome to the Chaser Report. It is Thursday, the 4th of August, 2022. Charles Firth is here. Hello, Charles.
Hello.
I'm Dom Knight and Andrew Hansen is back. Charles, a bit more excitement for Andrew. Just come on, Andrew's back.
Andrew, we're delighted to have you back.
Yeah, thanks.
Charles, are you okay?
I don't know. I'm sort of, what's the word?
Depression?
Ennui?
Ennui?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have a bit of ennui.
Oh,
do you?
no.
Yes.
It's terrible
I
when you're
hate
feeling
ennui.
French.
I hate ennui.
Yeah.
Ennui.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
You're
know.
probably sad about Ivana Trump, aren't you?
No, it's actually just that I had an accident in the bathroom and it's ennui.
Oh, no. This is not a good start.
Actually,
Take that out.
Knowing what we know about Donald Trump, he probably would
He probably did ennui on his wife's grave, yeah.
We'll get on to Ivana Trump right after this.
The Chaser Report. Less news, more often.
You can avoid those ads by going to chaser.com.au/podcast, although noting we've had a bit of an issue where our paid subscribers are getting some of the ads, the ones that we voice. We're working on it, we promise.
We've escalated the problem and the people in charge have refused to fix the problem, acknowledging that it is a problem and that it's the stupidity of their systems. They've also said, but we cannot change it for you.
It's worth noting that it would be very Donald Trump to sell a product without ads and then have ads in it.
In fact, and the solution that was proposed to me just moments ago was that, in fact, what we do is we just ditch all our subscribers and start again.
Just make them sign up again, which none of them will want to do.
Yeah. So we will sort it out.
They'd be unlikely to re-sign, having already been guttingly disappointed by having this thing called ads.
If we say to them, sign here and we promise there won't actually be ads, I would do almost anything to avoid having to hear you rabbit on about Airbnb.
I love the idea of doing that, but then having ads in the next version. We have to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be
the next thing that we do.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I mean, no one alienates their audience like the Chaser. We're brilliant at it. It's basically
we
an
made our
abusive
name
relationship.
on biting the hand that feeds us. Now, normally the hand that feeds us, was some powerful institution. Now we just bite our own
Pick on the
customers.
people who pity us and spend $9 a month paying for our shit without ads. Yeah.
Okay.
It does remind me a little bit of Trump University, really, as a sort of pyramid scheme that we're running here through the podcast. But look, there is sad news in Trump world, and I think we need to just reflect on it, because even when you're the president who rightfully won 2 elections in a row and will probably win the 3rd, bad things can happen. And in this case, it was the death of Ivana Trump, his first wife, who apparently had a fall at home, was just by herself. Living at home, had a fall. Nobody knew, and then eventually they realised she wasn't contactable.
I didn't know this.
And
part
she
of the story.
died.
So how long was she sort of distressed
Hasn't
and
been
waiting?
a lot of clarity. No, she just died instantly.
Oh, she died
falling down
instantly.
the
Okay.
stairs or something. But no, she had a terrible fall at home. She's only 73 or something.
Yeah.
So much younger than Donald, in other words. Probably too young to be president of the United States at 73. And that's it. That's the end of Ivana Trump, the first wife, the mother of Ivanka and Eric and Donald Jr. What a sad end for a very glamorous woman, really. Are you sad, Charles?
Well, there's things I've been sadder about in my life.
Now, I don't know whether you've heard this story, but if you were Ivana Trump, you were the first wife of Donald Trump who had cheated on you with Marla Maples, his second wife, for a long time, and probably other people as well. Where would you want to be buried? Of all the possible places in the world, you're quite wealthy. You can have a grave pretty much anywhere. Where would you want your coffin to be laid to rest finally, of all the possible places?
Well, I'm gonna go with what I assume has happened, which is it'll be inside Trump Tower, New York,
in the
to
foyer.
create a tourist attraction. She's probably entombed. Like
at the Starbucks. I've been to that Starbucks.
Harrison Ford style in some sort of
let me out,
frozen let me out thing.
What do you think, Hansen? Where would be a suitable place? A Trump Tower is Charles's guess. She was actually part of the design of Trump Tower, apparently.
Well, she is now.
Terrible.
If she's part of the decorations.
She's part of the wall.
Yeah.
And not quite. What do you think, Andrew? Where would the suitable resting place for the woman that Donald Trump left, I think, in the like the 80s or 90s or something, where would she be?
Well, I mean, given what you've said, I mean, if she was actually cheated on, she'd probably want to inconvenience him as much as possible. So I imagine, she might be installed on one of his golf carts, for example, and just
Weekend at Bernie style,
a mummified corpse
on the top.
I mean, if she'd really wanted to inconvenience him, she could have stayed alive and gone to the January 6th committee. That seems to be inconveniencing him quite a lot.
That would have been a nuisance.
Hansen, you're onto a very, very good thing with the golf. Between the two of you, you're close.
Don't tell me. She's not on the 18th hole, is she? She's not there.
She is the 18th hole.
Or is she? Yeah.
You laugh.
Is she like zany golf? Is it like zany golf, and you've got to knock the golf ball through her leg?
The correct answer, and I'm not making this up,
is yes. You got it right.
She was buried at the Bedminster Golf Club, Trump Bedminster, his golf course.
Yeah.
She was buried not far, they say, from the first hole. Not the 18th, but the first.
Because she was at his first hole. Is it?
No. Take the. No, not good. No, look, you're worried about your subscribers.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's.
We won't have to worry
that's
about
not
it.
worth $9 a month. No, but they've buried her. And if you look at the grave, and the grave pictures of the grave have been doing the round. Basically, if you imagine a rectangle of dirt, the coffin's underneath there, and just a marble sort of rectangle that's just saying Ivana Trump, the date that she was alive, and that's it. So people have described it basically as a pauper's grave there at the Trump Bedingfield golf course.
But is it pauper's grave or is it just austere?
Well, it's certainly austere. And people have, of course, to go follow up on your suggestion, Andrew, they have photoshopped it together with a crazy golf windmill on top of it. On them, right? I just saw the Photoshop of that. It's very impressive.
Just in fairness, is it that Donald Trump uses this golf course a lot?
He does.
And it's sort of like she can be with him, even though he's been remarried.
Twice.
Every time he tees off.
Well, there's lots of theories doing the rounds about it. Lots of conspiracy theories. And there was even an image that looked as though, from one angle doing the rounds, Melania was literally dancing on the grave at one point during the ceremony. A beautiful ceremony, really. Many speeches. I mean, her children attempted to pay tribute to their mother and did a terrible job because they're Trumps and they're broken inside.
None of the medical advice contained in the Chaser Report should legally be considered medical advice. The Chaser Report.
Here's the thing. Can you guess why Donald Trump was in favour of Ivana, his first wife, being buried at his golf club? What's the logic going on here? Why would she be buried? Apart from the fact that he does love this golf course.
I
reckon
all the time. It's because he could do it for free. I bet you cemetery spaces cost money. And he just went,
I'll just get the backhoe.
I own this land, therefore...
Yeah, and it's just like a giant divot, really, isn't it, in the golf course?
And in actual fact, he can probably convert that land into now a cemetery and get paid for other dead people to be buried there. He can set up a side hustle.
I've always said, Charles, that you were the Donald Trump of the Chaser. You've got the ginger hair, you've got the dodgy business instinct. You are absolutely right.
What?
There is money to be made in this for Donald Trump, right?
So it's a golf course / cemetery now.
Cemetery.
What?
Yeah. And when you designate part of your land as a cemetery in the state of New Jersey, you get tax breaks. You can't tax a cemetery company in the state of New Jersey. So he gets all kinds of massive tax benefits from Ivana's lifeless body being dumped at his golf course. There's huge... Wow. All these tax researchers have gone to look at it. It's a trifecta. You avoid property tax, income tax, and sales tax. So she's still giving to him, even though he cheated on her and even though she's now dead.
Wow. I'd be worried. I mean, if I was an employee at any of Trump's properties nationwide, I'd be looking over my shoulder.
Just go and look at this hole and you get whacked on the back of the head. But it goes further. And Charles has actually hit on the other part of the scheme, which is that he originally was trying to start this huge cemetery on the site and the planning authorities knocked it back. But he's now got approval for like a Trump family kind of mausoleum area there. So he wants to be buried there as well, he says, although he's got other theories about where to be buried. And at one point there was a plan for a giant, like 18-foot tall mausoleum in the middle of the playing green, which got knocked back. But it's actually now he's apparently one of the things he's trying to pitch is a like an eternal membership of this golf club, where you get buried there like Ivana and you have to pay extra. So you get to be a member and you get your body buried there alongside Donald Trump and his family forevermore. What an attractive deal that is.
We start out thinking, it's this special, emotional, meaningful thing where his wife is buried. But he's actually just open for business for anyone who wants to be buried next to her.
It's a marketing scheme. I mean, wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if he offered to the families of those killed on January the 6th, the Capitol Police and everyone else, I know that it was my scheme, my plot that got you killed, but I've got a lovely gravesite for you. You could have for free. Wouldn't that be a nice way to make it up to those families?
Yeah, but you wouldn't offer it for free.
Oh, he wouldn't offer it for free, of course. But it made me think, what is the best thing to do with Donald Trump's body? I mean, I imagine for at least several presidential races it will still run. Weekend at Bernie. Someone will be Eric will be propping it up from behind, trying to get him to run again. It'll
be very well preserved, won't it? Because he ate McDonald's his entire life, and he uses all that makeup.
Yeah, between the trans fats and the makeup, you'd think it'd be very well pickled by now.
Yeah.
Well, it should be studied. It should really go to scientists because they can. It'd be fascinating to see. How was he still alive?
Yeah, and how did they fit such an ego in such a small body?
Amazing.
Well, the first thing we need to check, and I really hope this happens from the bottom of my heart, I hope that the medical examiner who does the autopsy on Trump, and I hope that there is one, verifies whether or not Stormy Daniels was telling the truth about his dick. Because you might remember it was a little bit like a mushroom from Mario Kart was the thing that she said. And I think we all wanted to know whether that was true because it did sound pretty underwhelming.
Yeah,
it might explain a lot.
Well, maybe that could be the memorial in there.
A big, button mushroom. Yeah. That'd be very tasteful, wouldn't it? You could bury him in a field of mushrooms, really, couldn't you?
Oh.
Do you hate mushrooms, Andrew? Do you hate them as much as sultanas?
I do now. Wow.
I can't eat a mushroom without thinking about Donald Trump now.
No.
A mushroom quiche, mushroom burger. What else could they do with Trump's corpse?
Because I think the thing is, Trump's now on his way out. I mean, Murdoch dropped support for him about a week ago.
Yes.
And now the Republican National Congress, or whatever it's called,
RNC.
The RNC have now said that they're no longer going to pay for his legal bills. That's sort of on the way out. And then there's all these other people. So I don't think he's going to make it through and become the next presidential candidate. We had Dave Smith on the podcast.
Yes, a very an unusually qualified episode last week talking about how it's going to be quite hard for him to run again. The forces are turning against him. They did it again. They refused to cover one of his rallies on Fox News and instead had Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, being interviewed right when he was on. So it does seem as if the tumbrils are sort of circling somewhat in Trump world.
So, I imagine, what happened to Ceausescu when he got overthrown? Well, the answer is it was a swift execution, moments after he'd been arrested. I kind of think that's what it's going to be hanging from a public square what's going to happen to his body.
I would like to see it pickled and be able to be visited in Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, or Disney.
Or Disney.
Well, I think Disney, in the Hall of the Presidents. I mean, but the rest of them are animatronic.
They are animatronic.
Yeah,
but that's the real thing.
Yeah, the real
Trump
thing.
It could just be the corpse.
The desiccated corpse. And he just go around and be inspired by America. And I was hoping, because Mar-a-Lago, if you've seen the images, the whole thing is as ridiculous as Donald Trump, the whole design of the whole place. And I just could imagine in the ballroom, him just dangling from like a chandelier from the top, a sort of bloated body, just sort of swinging.
And instead of Mar-a-Lago, it could be Mario. It could be Mario World.
Mario with the mushrooms. Yeah, it's a mushroom vol-au-vent.
Oh. Yeah.
No, well, I think the Hall of the President's idea is a very good one.
That's it. That's the idea. That's what's going to happen.
The other thing, it'd be nice to have something at the Capitol, really, to commemorate his role in attempting to overthrow the American democracy on that.
Yeah, maybe the bollards should be made out of
mushrooms. The new security bollards to stop protesters getting injured in the
resemble his
Donald
penis.
Because he's even sold his hotel now. He's sort of on the outer, even that big hotel in Washington where everyone would go and stay.
I went there.
Did you go there to the Trump Hotel in Washington?
I went there. I had Trump brand champagne. from New Jersey.
It's probably from the golf club.
It's from how is it?
It's
How's
probably
the
infused with Ivana now.
Yeah, that's right.
champagne?
And had a Trump brand steak, which is very
how was the
expensive.
food? You tell us about the food and drink. Good.
Oh, it's terrible. No, it was
Oh.
shocking. I mean, it was very opulent, like very, everything was.
It's a beautiful building, that old
Yeah,
post office
beautiful,
in
beautiful.
Washington, yeah.
But very substandard for what you were paying.
Well,
But,
I went to Trump Tower and I actually could not believe how shit it was, in all honesty.
yeah.
Because, Fifth Avenue prime real estate in New York, and I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be really impressive. And it looked like an airport from 1982. It hasn't changed at all since it was opened, and it was super daggy, and there was this horrible little shop selling like Trump merchandise and all this kind of stuff. Make America Great Again caps and all that kind of thing. But no, it just was sort of sad. It just felt like you'd gotten out of the plane at Dubai airport in the early 80s.
very
just terrible.
specific.
Well, I flew through Bahrain airport.
Yes, that very relatable feeling of getting out in Dubai airport in the
Well,
early 1980s.
How can I put it? Like it was kind of like Gold Coast if it hadn't been renovated. It was sort of that style.
Yeah, right.
Everything was
Yeah.
like brass and
Yeah.
it was just disappointing. I just thought it was going to be kind of dictator chic, right? Like I thought it was going to be very grand and over the top. A bit like you go to Crown in Melbourne and the main centre there is very impressive.
I've heard Trump Tower Moscow is very good though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've heard the
Is
beds
it?
are waterproof. Anyway, I hope we can someday go to the golf course and tee off on Donald Trump's head. Wouldn't that be a wonderful way to say
Well,
goodbye?
I'm sure he's teed off many times on No, I'm not going to say. Our gear is from Rode, and we're part of the Acast Creators Network.
Rest in peace, Ivana.